I saw a rather bizarre interview of a Catholic priest who was an exorcist. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. And what he said was not something you've ever heard from a person like this before. And we're going to get into something rather curious, okay? It has to do with food, actually. Like food? Really? Food? Yes, actually food. Okay, we're going to get into that. In this video, we're actually going to get into a number of stories, but this one is really, really strange. It has to do with the ancient Mayans and Aztecs and something that we eat today that is not made exactly by God. Okay? It's kind of weird. Like I said, I told you it's weird. All right? A certain food group called corn. I'm sure you've heard of corn. You just assumed that corn was something that God created on day one in Genesis. Not exactly. It's actually a grass item. It's actually a species of grass, believe it or not, that was changed and cultivated in a very bizarre manner over hundreds of years, even thousands of years, a couple thousand years from what I understand, by the Aztecs and Mayans, and what they did in the process and how it relates to an exorcist. Yeah, I know it sounds totally crazy, but like you're going to really, once you hear this, you're going to be like, what? Like the first time I read it, I'm like, what the hell is this? But then when you start looking into it, it actually starts to make sense. Okay, it actually starts making some crazy sense. So we'll get into that. We're going to get into a ton of stuff. Yesterday, I talked about this game called I Am Jesus Christ. I did a video talking about the Shroud of Turin and also this video game. And the comment section was all, not all, but quite a bit of them were talking about the game. Here we have Moist Critical playing the game. He is a live streamer. He's also a YouTuber here. He's got a pretty big following. And I wanted to play a little bit of this, but I wanted to get into him talking about the Bible after playing the game. And also what people were saying in the comment section as well. We'll start off with this, and then we'll get into the other thing that I was talking about with the Exorcist. Let's just play this a little bit.
Do you feel it too? He's going to choose Jesus.
We'll find out soon enough.
As you can see, he went through and played this game for almost 4 hours. And then he did another video afterwards where he's talking about Christianity, growing up in a Christian household. Check this out.
We talked about that exact story. Other than Donkey Ollie, do you have any other memorable Bible animations you watched as a kid? Not animations, but I watched a lot of Bible Man. When I was a kid, I used to go to a Christian after-school care center. So it was a lot of like Bible study courses and stuff when I was a kid. Those things like Bible Man, Veggie Tales, that kind of thing.
Oh my goodness, Bible Man and Veggie Tales. Oh my goodness, man. Now, I didn't actually have that when I was a kid. We didn't have any of that. Well, because I was a long time ago, but I just find it interesting. He's talking about this. I didn't know his background.
VeggieTales is really like the only Bible animation I watched at the time.
VeggieTales is actually kind of funny. I think Bible Man's a little bit on the cringe side. Okay, the thing is, though, this is what I've been trying to get at with regards to movies and games and stuff, is a lot of it was Davey and Goliath, really kind of kidsy stuff that was being made, and not really anything for adults other than maybe The Passion by Gibson, or something like that. I mean, very little, very, very little stuff out there. Most of it was just free reign for the devil, pretty much. And in my comment section, people are like, this game, it looks something not, I know there's something not right about the game, but like literally I didn't show anything that was weird or bad. It was just people assuming this. Lots of people thumbing up the comment. I saw someone say, hey, this is great. Someone's making a Christian game. And it's got like 20 thumbs up, and then I saw someone like actually sorry they're playing a bad game called Assassin's Creed. Like, oh, God, please forgive me. And there's like more thumbs up almost on that comment about playing a bad game than playing a game about Jesus, which I thought was a little strange. I was like, so you thumb up people playing bad games and feeling sorry for it, but you don't thumb up a game about Jesus because you think maybe there's something wrong with it when you haven't even played it. It just seemed weird. The logic seemed weird. It just seemed like weird logic to me. Of course, the game might have something bad in it. I don't know. I didn't play it for 4 hours, so I have no idea. And so I understand that, a lot of people are trying to be referent to Jesus. I understand that whole thing as well. But, you have to be able to make games. You have to be able to make movies and stop worrying about someone getting offended here or there. You have to try to do your best you can. You can't just pretend like none of this exists and then just go and have all the devil reign and everywhere on movies and games and just doing it whatever he wants, making satanic games left and right and just, that's okay. Just repent after you played it. No, I don't think so.
VeggieTales was actually pretty good. It was. VeggieTales was, I always enjoyed it.
So, this guy, obviously, this is what I'm saying. Look, there's an issue in the church, okay, with all this stuff. It seems like we've just been taught whatever our pastor tells us, whatever we've been kind of picking up from church, rather than what the Bible actually says. And it was people like you and I who were started talking about giants and started talking about these other stories that are actually in Scripture but were hidden. And so that took about a decade to finally get into sort of the mind of the church. So you can clearly see that there's someone who doesn't want you to know the truth about the Bible. And clearly doesn't want it out in public and doesn't want games out there because they actually canceled one of these games. Sony canceled the one called Jesus Simulator on Easter. That was just a weird happenstance. I don't think so. You had, of course, and we're going to get into, like I said, we're going to get into this thing about the priest and the exorcist, or the exorcist priest, and what he said, which is really strange. A food group that didn't exist 2,000 years ago, that you eat every day. By the way, it's in almost every product you eat. A lot of people are not aware of this. High fructose corn syrup comes from corn. Corn didn't exist 2,000 years ago. It didn't exist. Other than, I'll show you, it didn't exist. Okay, it literally did not exist. And how they made corn is extremely weird. Okay, they were like doing rituals. This is nuts, man. I'll get into that in a little bit. And it's interesting because of what he said. One of the cases that he dealt with a woman, we'll get into that. First of all, I got to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. You're going to definitely need this considering all the insanity going on. Around us, never know what's next. 3 months, actually 3 months plus free mega protein kit, $7.97. They have other options available as well. Go check it out. This book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around the House as they did in the old days. You never know what's next with all the insanity going on around us. Wise to be prepared, $37. Get the printed version. Go check it out. Link is in the description. We have here Osmongold also playing the game. I covered that yesterday. So you have two people that are not even, from what I can tell, they're not Christians. And it's very obvious that Osmongold is almost on the edge of becoming a Christian again. Because he's even put out an ultimatum to the Pope. Hey, Pope, if you do this, I will come back to church. Because he wants the Pope to actually do something. Like actually do something, right? Not just, climate change, blah, blah, blah. It's just actually be a leader, right? That's what he wants. And so you have these people could be one step away from becoming a Christian again. Maybe this game will put them on that path. I don't know if the game's perfect. There could be something wrong with it. But my point is that I think it's a little wrong to be like, it's okay to play bad games. Just say sorry. But then when you have a game that came out that could potentially be very, very good, say, there's something wrong with it. But you see what I mean? There's like some weird logical inconsistency there. How can you be playing a game you know is clearly bad and then just say sorry for it? And everybody's like, yeah, just play the bad game. And then like a guy tries to make a good game and you're like, wait, there's probably something wrong with it. Don't play it. You know what I mean? Like there's some weird logical disconnect there. And I wonder if it's spiritual because I felt like something was trying to stop me from even making that video yesterday. Like something didn't want me to put it out. It was pretty obvious to me. Perhaps the devil, I don't know. We have, of course, this clip of a priest talking about an exorcism of a woman, and What he says is rather curious. And then we go into this really deep rabbit hole on the topic of corn that relates to it. Okay, this is weird. Check this out. Let's play this first.
The demons driving people who are possessed.
Really?
Where they can't stay away from the sugar. I had one case. This was kind of interesting. I had gotten to the point. This woman that was undergoing exorcism for possession was a very virtuous woman. I'm like, why am I not getting this guy out, right? And so at a certain point during one of the sessions, I commanded to him.
And she was possessed.
Yeah, she was possessed. I said at a certain point, I said to the demon, I commanded the demon to tell me, what is it you have on her, right? And he just looked at me and he said, pop.
Meaning soda.
Yeah. So he checked out. I asked her, I said, do you have a problem with soda? And she said, I cannot go a day without rewarding myself with it. She says, I just can't do it. And then once the possessions broke, boom, they don't even have the inclination towards it. So they can drive.
Now, this is interesting. Now, this sounds crazy. You hear it at first glance, you're like, what? Sugar? Are you serious? Really? Possession, sugar? That sounds insane. That sounds completely nuts. What are you talking about, priest, right? Well, then this guy, I saw this other weird tweet about this that just like totally throws you off. You're just like, what? Let me show you this real quick. I thought it was a joke at first, and then I realized, wait, actually this guy's saying something kind of weird. That might be true. The priest and Tucker both make a subtle but fundamental error here. By priest's own recounting, the demon told him his power over the woman was from pop, soda. But in the United States, this isn't made with sugar. It is made with corn syrup. Corn does not occur in nature. The Olmec bred it from grass called teosinte, or how do you say it? Teosnite? I don't even know how to say that. Teosnite, whatever it is. In one of the most radical and unexplained transformations in the history of agriculture, the plant barely resembles its ancestor. Mainstream archaeobotanists still struggle to fully account for how it happened as fast as it did, but there is a school of thought that suggests that Olmec obtained the knowledge to do this by communing with entities contacted through psychedelic rituals involving human, of course, sacrifice. Corn deities figure prominently. I know this sounds crazy, just stick with me. It's freaking nuts sounding, but there's actually something to this. And I don't think corn's evil. I don't think like if you eat corn, you're eating a demon or some weird shit like that. That's not what I'm saying. It'll make sense in the end. Corn deities figure prominently in the religion of Olmec, the Maya and Aztec, and other groups in Americas. Its derivatives are now in virtually every processed food in America. When you consume it, you're partaking in it. It is even in your gas tank, thanks to the federal government's ethanol subsidies and fuel mandate. What the hell, dude? So, this is freaking nuts. Okay, this is straight up freaking nuts. This sounds like the movie Soylent Green or something, but like it's corn instead, right? Like you're like, what? Dude, they like put corn in everything. When your car burns it, it leaves a cloud of stuff lingering. When I first read this, I'm like, is this guy screwing with me? Like, what is this weird stuff he's saying? I'm like, this sounds like some guy just took something and then came up with a weird tweet or something. And then I actually looked into it. It's actually true. It's actually true partially. This thing is really, literally, corn is not something God created. Okay, I'm going to show you what it was originally. I was looking into this yesterday. I'm like, corn is not something God created at all. It's something that these guys made, that the Aztec, Olmec, and Maya created over a long period of time from a grass. It was a grass called, I can't even remember. I don't even know how to say this name. It's so annoying. It's like a weird name. Teonite versus corn. Here we go. So it came from this. You see this thing right here? Have you ever went out in your yard, like in a swamp area, and you saw like one of these, like, weeds that goes up and it has like a little thing on the top, little itty bitty thing on the top, and you're like, oh, and you can kind of pull it off and stuff, right? And then like, you know, kind of play with it. I don't even know what that's called. It's like a weed you see in a swamp, basically. That's what I think this is. That's where corn came from. Okay, this right here. This thing is what made it into this. They, over like hundreds to a couple thousand years or whatever, they turned this thing into this. Okay. Through weird means. I don't know how they did it, but they did it somehow. They turned this into corn. Okay? It might look like something you've seen, like in a weed, like on top of a weed. You've seen some weird thing like that. That's what corn is. Literally, that's what it is. Okay? It didn't come from nature. This is not something God created, dude. This is not something God created. It was originally this thing, and it became this. That's so weird looking, right? Like, how did they do that, right? Apparently, the banana also changed quite a bit over time. I haven't looked into the history of the banana, but it's something where they changed it over time as well. But so this guy made a mistake thinking that pop is sugar. It's not sugar. It's high fructose corn syrup in America, not sugar. Okay? Which, of course, RFK Jr. has been trying to get out of our soda. Why did they switch it over to that? Well, you see what I mean? And it also, they say, RFK was saying that when it claims that the amount of sugar in it, it's actually way higher than what it claims. This is what he said. That high fructose corn syrup actually, it's higher than it claims on these bottles. It might say 60 grams. It might be 90. I don't know. This is what he said. I don't know. I saw him say that one time. Now, I've been noticing over the last year, doing my own research on food in America, that I was feeling like it was like the story Hansel and Gretel, like where you have these two kids, they see a house made of candy, a witch owns it. You're like, oh, candy, it tastes so good. Eat some candy. And that's our food. That's literally our food in America. This is what I think it is. It's like Hansel and Gretel. We're eating the house. Okay. We're eating the house at a witch's house. So I'm saying that I think they're doing something, of course, to our food. Why else would this be like what? Of course, you could just say this priest is making it up. Oh, this is all BS. He's making it up, whatever. So, of course, I wanted to point out another thing. I don't think that it's a sin to eat corn or something. That's not what my point is here. It's not what I'm saying at all, matter of fact. Because, matter of fact, Jesus said in Mark 7:18-21, and he saith unto them, are you without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing entereth into a man, or is it entereth into a man, it cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart, but into his belly, and goeth out in the draught, purging all meats. He said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man from within, out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornication, murders. So, there is no food that can defile you in the aspect of food. But you remember Paul talked about food offered to idols, right? And imagine you're not a Christian and you're just eating all this candy off the house of Hansel and Gretel. You see what I mean? Like there's a spiritual dynamic to this. And so if someone is, like in this case with this woman, perhaps because she's not a Christian, perhaps there was some aspect of what they were doing to create corn that has some sort of ancestral weirdness to it, ritual to it. And I mean, just think about that. Like, you know how these people are. There's a word called pharmakia in scripture. Okay? And this is where we get the word pharmacy from. And this has to do with food being mixed with spiritual activity, just like food offered to idols. But when you pray over it, God fixes it or heals it or whatever you want to call it. So drinking a soda with high fructose corn syrup, I don't think would affect you if you're a Christian and you prayed over it. But the point is, perhaps it still can affect you physically because it's a bad food. Kind of like you have all these weird preservatives. You have all these weird, like glyphosate they use, which is a weed killer they put into our bread in America when they pre-harvest, unlike other countries like Italy. Why is it everyone in America, like when I went over to a foreign country, I lost 30 pounds in 9 months. I come back to America, I gained 15 pounds back in 1.5 months. I didn't try to diet. I wasn't doing anything weird. I just went to the other country. I was literally drinking Coca-Cola every day. I went to a foreign country drinking sugar Coca-Cola, not high fructose, every day, eating whatever I wanted to eat, didn't care, didn't think about it. I lost 30 pounds come back to America. I actually tried to eat a little better when I came back to America because I wanted to keep the weight loss. And I actually gained the pounds back in like 1.5 months, 15 pounds, like half of it, like trying to eat right. So there's something weird going on with our food, and could there be some spiritual aspect? Are they doing weird stuff like they do with our music, like they do with everything, our movies, right? You see what I'm getting at? And if you are obviously in a bad position spiritually, and you're not right with God, and you're not praying over things, could this be something that could cause you a problem? I mean, obviously with the history of corn being from literally rituals, dude, it's like a grass that was made into corn somehow through some weird, like Book of Enoch, watchers making a deal with humans like, hey, we'll tell you how to make this corn. Like what the hell is going on? This is insane. I didn't even know this. I just assumed corn was something God created. Apparently not. You get the idea of what I'm trying to get at now. The point is that they actually turned this into this. How the hell did they do that? You see what I mean? Like, this is weird, man. They like turned this plan into this. Somehow. It went from that. And what it was is like, this would have multiple of the small versions, and they somehow bred it into just having one giant one. Through hundreds or thousands of years, 7,000 BC versus now, this didn't exist back in the beginning. Okay, it was literally this thing, as you can see there on the screen, and that became corn. If I can show it a little bit bigger. See what I mean? That became corn. Okay, like what in the world? So you get the idea. At any rate, I kind of wrote about this, about how there might be some ritual aspect to this, that there's some spiritual aspect to this, how corn was made, and then perhaps the people that are still in charge want to perpetuate this sin. So they put this corn in everything we eat. And if you're not praying over your food, they're going to be doing something to it. See what I mean? And of course, they don't want you to know this, but perhaps that's what was made known through this video with this priest. It's what's really going on. At any rate, there's that. So also I was just thinking, I mean, this is the type of things we're talking about around us. Deception everywhere. A painting depicting a battle with a dragon hidden behind other paintings for over 380 years. Now, I told you guys, I feel like we have moved from the red dragon age to the white dragon age, and now we're starting to learn and see the deception from the red dragon age, 500 years worth. And maybe this painting is symbolically, I mean, maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see here, but we know from the book of Esther, they removed the last chapter, which was about two dragons warring for power over the world. This is a very important concept in scripture that they tried to hide and put in the Apocrypha. You have this painting, and I'm going to show you the actual paintings in a second here, but they found a painting behind it of dragons, of a dragon. The dragon hiding in plain sight, as you can see. So here we are. This is what it is here. So you get on the screen better. Yeah, that's a famous painting, isn't it? What is it? A saint killing a dragon. I forgot what Saint Andrew, Saint something. I can't remember who it is. Saint Gregorio. Is that how you say his name? So I thought that was interesting as well. You have breaking, aliens are real and human contact is taking place according to Tim Burchett. Or is it something else? Not little green men from other planets, perhaps instead interdimensional beings, fallen, of course, ones, angels, those involved in the... And this is what I'm saying, like, perhaps they're doing occults more places than you realize. I noticed that when I looked into the ingredients in one of those solutions they gave us back in 2020, the whole, I'm talking COVID, I looked into the ingredients and they had 0.66 everywhere. They had 666 everywhere. It was really weird. the amount of a substance they put in, this amount of that substance, like it was very purposeful and intentional. I'm like, that looks like pharmakia. That looks like there's some weird thing going on there. I pointed it out to a friend. It was kind of weird. And so I think there's more of this going on than people realize, at any rate. Of course, there's also, I was going to get into some other stuff, but I'm going to have to end it here. Kind of want to know what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.